Okay, next we have Selen Manioglu. Originally from Turkey, Selen came to Zurich to do her PhD in novel ways how to treat bacterial infections. She's fascinated about science communication, and this is why she joined FameLab, because she wants to master her pitching skills and excel at the art of converting complex concepts into comprehensible pieces. And she's been quite successful at this because she won the Basel FameLab semifinal. Outside of the lab, she sings in the choir, practice martial arts such as Krav Maga. Maybe she will use this skill to fight bacteria tonight. We will find out. Fishing harmful bacteria with delicious antibiotics. Selen Manioglu.
So, mic check. The bait is the most important item in fishing. So if you have a good bait, you can easily lure the fish to your trap and catch it. But to do that, first you should find what kind of bait your fish finds attractive. Otherwise, you will go home with an empty bucket. So scientists are also doing some kind of fishing to find new antibiotics for the bacteria that makes us sick. And in this case, the harmful bacteria are the fish that we would like to catch. And the antibiotic is the bait that we use to lure the bacteria to our trap. But there is a little problem because catching these bacteria and finding a good bait for them is not that easy. Because their appetite has changed quite drastically, and that's all thanks to our way of using antibiotics. And what I mean by that is, for example, when we need antibiotics, we tend to get 5 of them, although we could have just get 1, and that would be enough, and that would do good. Or, we hit our little toe somewhere, and we take antibiotics, which will not help it at all. So, therefore, this appetite of the bacteria has changed quite drastically, and they become picky. So, in the end, bacteria are small, but they're not stupid. They learn how to fight back as well. And over time, they have adapted. They learned how to become resistant for the drugs that are resistant to kill them. And on top of it, they went and shared their resistant secrets with their friends. Now they turned into some kind of biological villain gang named as Superbugs. Probably they will appear in the next Marvel movie. So what I want to say is we need to find a good bait to catch this really picky superbug bacteria. Well, bacteria and fish are not that similar. First of all, bacteria is way more smaller, so this won't work. But it's okay, because I have a very sensitive fishing method that can sense 1/1000th of the force that I'm applying now. So here's how it works. Here I have a candidate antibiotic, and if it's attractive for the bacteria will jump on it and pull on this bait a lot. And therefore, if you see, my fishing rod will bend a lot. But if the bacteria is not that interested with this one, then it will not pull on it much, and therefore the fishing rod would also not bend much. So by attaching different antibiotics on this hook, we can look their effects on the superbug bacteria to find the best bait to catch them. And once we find the best bait, we will have some fish in this bucket.
Thank you very much, Selen. Questions, please.
Yes.
Narin, please. Narin.
What is the rod that you say that? What is it that you would visualize in the lab?
The very high-tech, sensitive fishing rods.
Yep.
This is the technique that I'm using in the lab, which is actually a fishing rod. That was not a lie, actually, but it is very sensitive, and it allows me to look at the things that are really small, but not just taking an image of them, but also getting some kind of like a force measurement out of them. So basically, I'm looking at an interaction force of the bacteria and between what I'm attaching on the hook here. And in this case, this is antibiotic.
Well, that looks very high-tech to me. No?
That's why I changed.
More questions? Patricia?
Can you look into the future for us? What do you predict? How many antibiotics will we have in the next 20 years?
Well, about the future, I can say about the past. And in the past 30 years, we didn't work much. Let's say, didn't find new antibiotic classes. And because of the way that we also used antibiotics, this problem escalated a bit, a lot. But for the future, if we can find new antibiotics from the nature, in my previous talk, I was also talking about that because bacteria are also trying to kill each other. So maybe trying to find what they do to each other might helpful for us. Or also looking at with my high-tech, very sensitive technique might help us to find a very, precisely the one that we need for which bacteria we would like to catch.
Susan?
If you could select a person from another discipline to collaborate with you, what would be most interesting for you?
Ooh, it will be, I think, a computational person to look at the data that I'm collecting and to get as much as information I can from it, because I'm collecting quite some data, but to analyze it and to look at really carefully to make decisions is really important. So I think that will be a computational person to collaborate together, which we're trying to harness in the lab as well.
All right, thank you very much, Selen.
Thank you.